the constructivist school would claim that it is more about the values that we have, the emotions that we feel. And it has to be said that here is also a component that would influence Poland's decision-making process in the weeks leading up to the war, immediately after the outbreak of the war, and ever since. And here we have, you could say, 2 or even 3 components of this issue. One is the historical memory of the Poles, how they view their own history, what they have lived through, or what the nation has suffered through over the centuries. And here, naturally, I have in mind how it was treated by the Soviet Union. The Poles, they can be very empathetic to the Ukrainian cause because they remember themselves being under attack in 1939, having had various agreements with other powers of mutual assistance, whether the French and Polish alliance from 1921 or the much fresher British-Polish pact of mutual assistance that was signed on August 25th, 1939, so less than a week before the German invasion. But the Poles, they felt that, at least on paper, they had allies in the West, and they were hoping to receive political, financial, and military support. Some of it was on the way during the German invasion in 1939, but unfortunately 2 weeks later the Soviets invaded as well and cut short that window of opportunity during which weapons technically could have arrived to Poland. Later on during the Warsaw Uprising, there's another similar episode when the Poles are fighting for their lives, and they do get these drops by parachute from various air forces, naturally the British, but the American, even the South African, dropping supplies, and the Poles were always hopeful about that more and more will arrive, pressure will be exerted by the Western allies on the Soviets to intervene and push back the Germans attacking Warsaw. So when Ukraine is pleading for aid, asking for military weapons for their own defense, the Poles, they know exactly how it feels. So that is how the Poles perceive their own history, so to say. A second component is how the Poles view the Ukrainians. Naturally, the Poles and the Ukrainians, they have a difficult history. Here I have in mind especially the Second World War and the genocide, the Volyn massacre, which was around 100,000 Poles, that practically all civilians that were massacred during the war, but especially there was a climax in 1943. During the spring it started, and then it really peaked during the summer months. So there are definitely difficult episodes in Polish-Ukrainian history. But at the same time, again, the Ukrainians and the Poles, they have a certain history that is in common. For example, Poland suffered a devastating defeat in the 13-year war against the Russian Empire between 1654 and 1667, which ended with the Treaty of Andrusovo, and later on the Eternal Peace Treaty of 1686, where Poland lost left bank Ukraine, meaning the part of Ukraine that is on the east of the Dniester and the Dnipro river. This is the start of Poland's very difficult century and a half, so to say, which culminates or ends really with the third partition in 1795, when Poland disappears from the map.
Adam, sorry, I'm going to have to, the clock in the corner of the room is doing its usual blinking at me, so I'm going to have to ask you to pause there, but fear not, we'll pick it up next time. There we are. I've had to interrupt Adam almost in mid-sentence, but fear not, if you join us next time, as we hope you will, we'll pick up the story here on Poland Daily History. In the meantime, thank you for watching.